Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing a book review video. Some of these books have like an English kind of theme to them, and two of them don't. So the first one is a Harlequin book. It's a love-inspired inspirational romance book. It's called A Haven for His Twins. It's by April Arrington. This is what it looks like. It was a short read. There was, I think, 15 chapters in it. It's about this man. His name is Holt, and several years ago he gave his two twins, baby twins, up to this woman to raise. And here he came back. He's a different man now. He left to do rodeo stuff so he could provide a life for his twins. And when he comes back, the girl, she wants to adopt them that he left them with, and he wants them back, and she's saying, well, let's give it a trial run, let's set you up in this cabin. And basically she runs this thing where it's like a fostering thing for kids, where it's like one of their stops before they either go into the foster system or get adopted, or even like it's also like a safe haven for like mothers that were abused, that kind of thing. And they can stay there for as long as they need to. And basically he becomes like the handyman, and he starts hanging out with the twins, and one of the twins gets kind of suspicious and thinks that that's really their dad and stuff like that. And it was a really good book. I really liked it. It was different. It was just different to me. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, he just came back into their lives and things. Oh, like the romance part of it, there wasn't a lot of smut in it. The romance was like a slow romance. It wasn't like, oh, I love you and we spent a night together and blah blah blah, that kind of thing. I really liked it. Like I said, it was different. This is a murder mystery book. I haven't read one of these in I think for a while. This is Murder Gone Awry. It's a Baker Street mystery. It's by Nancy J. Parka. This is what it looks like. It's this woman who she owns this gluten-free bakery because she's gluten-free. She's in this small little town where they have this Thanksgiving Day parade in honor of this man who was like the only man that came from this small town to ever make in like the NFL or something like that. And here her grandmother gets into a little trouble, and she has to figure out if her grandmother did this to one of these women. I think she was like on the community commissioner thing or something like that. And she's like, well, her grandmother's like, well, she was going to tell me this big scoop about this guy from like years and years ago, that famous guy that they have like a parade for. And it takes place around like Thanksgiving, and the main character girl says, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving, it's basically this guy's day every Thanksgiving, that kind of thing. And she wants to know what happened, what was going on, all this stuff. And I really liked it. It was different from like a couple mystery books that I read. And it had like a twist in it, which I liked. Like, every time there's a twist in it where you're like, you don't know who really did it, because usually like halfway through the book you might figure it out. But I really liked that book. It was really good. And the chapters were short. The characters were funny. There's like a side plot in it with a dog that's really funny. So this book is called Falling Hard for the Royal Guard. It's by Megan Clawson. It's Love is in the Air, H-E-I-R. This is what it looks like. It's about this girl who, she's not the most beautiful. She's got like what would you call it? Like, she's got fat. She's not like the most skinniest girl, She's basically like the girl that you would just think of as like your friend and never as like your girlfriend or whatever. So basically she lives with her dad. She's like in her late 20s, I think. And she works in the ticket booth at the Tower of London because her dad is a beefeater, and these are the guys that look like this. And basically there's like history in this book too about the Tower of London, that kind of thing. But basically she's falling in love with this royal guard person. And these royal guards, he takes her to this like place that only like those kind of guards go to, in this bar. And here they say, well, you go on to this dating site and you go out in like three or 5 dates for us. And that was like the bet. And so the whole book's just about her going out with like these stereotypical guys on these dating apps kind of thing, where like this one guy only cares about the gym. This one guy had a younger picture of himself on this dating site, and here when she met him, he was this old guy, that kind of thing. Stuff like that. And she's realizing as she's going on these dates that she really likes this guy that she met at the tower, who's a royal guard, like I said. And he has some backstory too. His whole family comes from this long line of these guards, and the heir to the guard always does these certain things and stuff like that. And she finds out that in his life there's a personal twist in it, where he's engaged to this woman. And here there's another twist inside of that twist, that kind of thing. And basically she's like, well, I like him, and who would like me, because I'm not like the prettiest girl that you could ever see, that kind of thing. But I really liked it. Like, it was just like a regular classic, like, I guess, like, love story. Like, it wasn't anything like spectacular, you know, like it wasn't like a Hallmark movie, I'll say that. And the other thing too is I mean, it does take place in England, but the other thing, too, is that the one thing that annoyed me in this book was the fact that when she kept going on these dates, I'm like, well, if you're going on these dates and you're realizing that you really love this man, why don't you go tell him that you really like him instead of going through all these stupid dates? And then she goes on like 2 or 3 of them, and then there's like this long chunk of the story where she doesn't go on any, and all she thinks about is this guy that she likes, and she's trying to figure out where he is, because the guards travel all over the place. They're not just at the tower. They're like at Buckingham Palace. They're at, you know, wherever the Queen is, that kind of thing. And she's like, oh, I don't want to go on any more dates. I love him. But then she does anyway, which is weird. So this book is called The Palace Papers. This was like a disappointing book, in my opinion. It's by Tina Brown. This is what it looks like. There are pictures like scattered. There's like 2 groups of pictures in this book. Basically, it's just talking about from Queen Elizabeth II's dad all the way up to all the drama that's going on with like Meghan and Harry and Prince Andrew and all that kind of stuff. I read a lot of biographies about the royals, and to me, it was just like there was nothing in it that was new. It was all the same information. It was just basically like the updated version of where they were at now. It didn't go up until the Queen's death. It just went up until, I think, Prince Philip's death. I feel like it took me forever to get through, because I'm like, do I really want to finish this book? It's basically the same stuff. It's the same biographies in all of these books. Like, I read Meghan biography, I read Harry's biography, I read like about Diana, all that stuff. Basically, it was basically the same thing. It was just kind of like the only thing, and it was like that when they got done talking about their life, then they went into, okay, well, here's why they weren't a great parent, or here's why they shouldn't have been married into the royal family, or here's why blah, 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 you know. It's basically just like, okay, like, we get it. Like, you don't have to diss them throughout this whole chapter, basically. And it was a big book. And the chapters are really long. This book is called The Jane Austen Society. It's by Natalie Jenner. This is what it looks like. Basically, this book was about this group of people who live in this small town in England where Jane Austen apparently lived out a chunk of her life. And there's this house where it's still in her brother's family, and the daughter and her dad, who's going like crazy and he's sick, still live. And her dad hates the fact that she doesn't have an heir, and that she is like agoraphobic, which means she doesn't like going out in public places. She never really leaves the house. And the fact that he doesn't want his house to become like a museum, because people always come to the house. They're always lurking because they want to see what Jane Austen was like. And basically this happens during the years after World War II, and it's all of these different people who who either live in the town or they actually came from the States. Like, there's this one couple where they're like, she's a movie star and she's getting old and nobody wants to use her in movies, and she really wants to make this one Jane Austen book a movie. This, I think it was Sense and Sensibility, and she's getting like, she wanted to be the main character, and now she's getting dinged to like the next character and all this stuff. And her boyfriend at the time is saying, well, if you do this movie, it'll jump back your career or whatever. I forget what he said. But anyway, there's that. There's this doctor who, he's on the committee for the school, and there's this woman who, she's making all these kids read Jane Austen, and of course the boys' parents, don't want them to be reading like these romance stories. So she gets canned, and she finds out, like, her backstory was she married her husband before the war started. He died. She found out she was pregnant, so now she's all by her lonesome. She doesn't have anybody in here. The whole story, I just wanted her to be with this doctor guy, because this doctor guy, he's a widow. His wife died, like, suddenly and tragically. Like, it was just, like, upset the way that she died. And I'm just like, oh, I just really want them to be together. But the whole storyline is like, I don't want to be with her because I'm too old and I'm too young and I want to be with him, that kind of thing, basically. And I was like, just be together. And here all of these people want to make this society, and they make this group where they're trying to buy the Jane Austen house and that kind of stuff to preserve it, and they're trying to get the books out so people can like see them and see, oh, there's all these first edition books, and this is how Jane Austen came up with this character or whatever. It was a really interesting book. I really liked it. There was some kind of like facts about it, about her life and stuff, which was really interesting. So this is called Beyond the Wand. It's by Tom Felton. This is what it looks like. Now, he was the actor who played Draco Malfoy in the Harry Potter movies. And this took me forever to find. Like, when it first came out, I could not find it. And I found it at Target. I didn't find it at Walmart. And there are some pictures in the book. And basically it's just about his life struggles before Harry Potter, during Harry Potter, and after Harry Potter. Because obviously he wasn't, like, one of the main characters. So he didn't get, like, all these roles. He didn't get, like, all these privileges, that kind of thing. And he kind of takes, like, a turn in his life where he's basically just like, I don't know what to do. And this is what he did and stuff. And I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. It was pretty neat because, like, obviously, like, it shows you, like, well, I wasn't the main character in the story, and this is how I was treated or whatever, and, like, how it was hard for him to get roles. And he just took, like, whatever he could, even if it was, like, a small little part in a movie. And it was a really good book, like I said. I really liked it. It wasn't, like, the only thing I will say, like, it wasn't anything, like, different, because, like, I'm not saying it's the same, but there's, like, a parallel with his book and that Jeanette McCurdy book, that I read, like, months ago, where, you know, she wasn't the main character in her show, and this is how she was treated, where she had to keep doing the same role over and over again. And when you get stuck in that role your whole life, it's hard to escape it. Or if you do, people are like, well, you didn't play that role right because it wasn't blah, 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 blah. But anyway, that was my book review video. My second time trying to film this video today. I'll see you guys next time with another video, and hope you guys have a wonderful day.